this video, I want to talk about 11 most used apps on my iPhone. These applications, some of them draining most of the batteries out of my phone while keeping me productive. So in no particular order, here they are. So the first on the list is Things by Cultured Code. Cultured Code is a small team, I think based in Germany, but they created these sophisticated applications in terms of UI and user experience. I've seen a lot of debates in Reddit and other places around things and other productivity applications, to-do lists, for example, Tick, Todoist. And I've noticed users who use things for some time having a hard time switching to other applications. And I think it's basically because of the way this application was designed to make most use of user experience, gestures, and also it gives you a very minimalistic, beautiful UI. Things gives you basic features of a to-do application, something that a lot of other applications offer even more of that. Like for example, if you compare things with Tick or Todoist, you don't get files, you don't get attachments, you don't get location-based, or you even have a hard time setting recurring tasks, and you don't get those fancy natural language processing like Tick or Todoist. But there is something about things that makes you come back to it. And I think, as I said, is user experience. So with things, you get a glance of calendar. You can integrate it with your local calendar. Things gives you a very fast sync, which is one of a kind in its own class. And it's also good to consider that Things charges you once for years, and they keep supporting their applications and without producing a new application that you need to pay for. So for example, the first time I purchased Things was back in April 2012, and then they produced Things free 5 or 6 years later, and the second time I purchased was February 2018, and they still keep supporting and updating Things free after years of producing, and we still don't know when Things 4 will come out. Next on the list is Fantastical. Fantastical is a calendar application, and the main competitors are Apple Calendar, of course in iOS 18 only, because they've done a revamp in iOS 18, and I've created a thorough video comparing these two applications together and how calendar application can match up to Fantastical. The other third-party alternatives are Calendar by Riddle and Amy, which is quite expensive. I believe Fantastical is still taking the top first place in compared to any other calendar application, mainly because it gives you a very unique UI that you can navigate, an innovative ribbon that was first designed by them and was used in different applications later. They give you good different views, for example, for day, week, month, quarter, or year. The landscape mode is quite usable if you want to drag and drop tasks and events or create by gesture. And they have a natural language processing, which is very powerful for creating both tasks and events. They also support tasks, which basically you can integrate with either Google Task, Reminders, Apple Reminders, or Todoist. So integration is quite powerful in Fantastical. It can be used as a business application, which still lacks in Apple Calendar in iOS 18. And a lot of people pointed out that they use Fantastical for business, and this is not something that they can compromise with other applications like Calendar in iOS 18. Besides that, Fantastical has two different features which are very unique, and you're not gonna compromise them with, for example, something like iOS 18 Calendar. One is color-coded events. You can color code them without needing to create an event per different calendar, and also you can create multiple alerts per event. So you can have more than 2 alerts, which is lacking in a lot of applications like iOS 18 Calendar. The subscription price is a bit high, and a lot of people complain about it. But I think if you want to choose a third-party application and you want to get the most out of its features, then Fantastical worth the price. The next application is My Beloved Bear by Shiny Frogs. This application just makes me want to write something. You know, every time I open this application, I automatically create a note and start brainstorming, and automatically ideas will come out of my head and I start typing them. Even everything that I post in my videos is a bullet point in this application. The UI is fantastic, navigation is great, And regardless of how many notes you have in this application, it is still quite fast. You can navigate through your notes, you can search for notes, it's indexed perfectly. And I think in a more technical depth, it uses SQLite for database, which is quite fast and robust. The way this application organizes notes is very unique. So you just create tags and subtags, and then Bear application will put them in a category and subcategory for you. It offers you a lot of themes and icons, and the subscription price is very low. It's $2.99 per month if you want to pay for it. I think for the amount of features that you get out of this application, it's very generous. Another thing that I love about this application is the way you can import and export notes and back up your note out and into this application, because this is something that I always advise people for to-do applications. You can just quit one application and jump into another and, you know, wait for your tasks, all your tasks or project to get done, and recreate them or migrate them easily to a different application. But with notes, it's something permanent. You want to have a plan B to easily get out of one application if one day they want to shut down or just the subscription price went up, like what Evernote did. So an application that generously allows you to export your notes in a format that is standard is something to be considered. The next on the list is YNAB. YNAB stands for You Need a Budget. It's a method of looking at your money in a different way, and this application, although it has some learning curves and you need a lot of tutorials for it, it changed the way that I look at my money. So YNAB is based on 4 rules. Number 1, give every dollar a job. 2, embrace your true expenses. 3, roll with the punches. 4, age your money. It has some learning curves and manual work around setting your budget and managing your financials. But once you get used to it and once you start to understand how YNAB works, it totally reforms your money. And you will see a lot of reviews around this application. People are stating that they never had so much money in the past as they have now after using this application. Next is a Spark. Spark is an email management application, and I have literally all my accounts, email accounts, iCloud, Google Business, and also my Microsoft Exchange on this application. How a Spark is different from other mail application is basically 3 different views they provide is Smart, Smart version 2, and also Classic. Classic is the way basically you go through your email on a timeline basis. Smart and Smart version 2, you allow Spark to manage those emails for you, what's most important and what is not. It's always categorized in different sections for you. You get avatars for your email, which helps you a lot understand which email coming from where. And with your notifications, you get multiple actions you can set. You get gestures, which you can completely customize them to set what each gesture should do for you. And if you pay extra, you get AI, which helps you generate emails or correct your grammar, punctuation, and vocabulary. Another application which I've been using for a long time and is one of the most valuable applications for me is Day One. Day One is my journal application, and I've set all my valuable memories in it without having to worry about anything. I purchased this application over 12 or 14 years ago, and it encouraged me to keep my journals and memories all the time in it. The application was completely worry-free for me during these years because it was supported all the time. The subscription price is very reasonable and the UI is very robust. You get to post photos, videos, audio files, and literally anything that you can think of. It gives you suggestions like Apple Journal, and it doesn't lack anything that a journal application should do. When you create a memory and attach an image which is older, Day One automatically suggests to change the date time for you to that specific image's metadata, and you also get the weather, mood. The UI is very easy to navigate. You have calendar view, you have location-based memories, and besides only your memories, you can connect your Instagram account, which Day One pulls your posts automatically from your Instagram, and you can even use this as a note application. Next, I have MindNote. MindNote is a mind mapping application, which I use it a lot when I want to quickly capture key points of something, like for example, a lecture, a book, or an audiobook, which I use a lot. For example, when I'm listening to Audible, I put headphones on and I start capturing the keynotes from the audiobook. And I review those keynotes before the next listening So it reminds me what happened, what I was listening to, and it completely refreshes my mind. If you're a visual learner, you can use this application and you can benefit from it because it is not only limited to text. You can also append images, files, emojis, drawings, and literally anything that you can think of in forms of a file or an attachment. The UI is very fluid and it's very pleasant to use. You can easily create branches and sub-branches and you expand that as much as you want. Another application that I love a lot to use is Bluebird. Bluebird is a timer application, is a basically Pomodoro, which helps you stay focused and get things done. I use this application because in compared to other applications, it provides me countdown or count up. For example, if you create a task, you want it to be infinite and it just counts up on it. So for example, focus work is never ending, right? You can count up on such tasks, but another task that is finite, you can count down on it and get it done completely out of your list. The UI is very beautiful. It syncs flawlessly among all your devices. For example, Apple Watch, Mac application, iPad application, and iPhone. It gives you a way to reduce or extend the timer, and you can have break time. It gives you a lot of white noises also to keep you focused. And overall, this application is very addictive. Everybody needs a password manager. The question is which one? We have a lot of competitors in this segment, but for me, 1Password does it better than all of them. 1Password, first of all, has a better UI and user experience than most of the password manager applications. It has all the main functions, for example, creating a card, secured notes, identity, and also login and licenses. For your logins, it gives you two-factor authentication also, which you can set within 1Password. And 1Password autofills even two-factor authentications beside username and password for you. The passkey for 1Password works flawlessly, and everything a password manager should have in a beautiful and secure package, 1Password has it at a reasonable price. And the last two applications are two small utilities, but they are very useful and pleasant to use. First one is CalcBot by Tapbots. If you remember, an application called TweetBot was also produced by Tapbots, which was shut down due to some restrictions from Twitter and making their APIs very expensive. Tapbots, if I'm not mistaken, is a group of two people which producing very beautiful UI applications, and the user experience in their application is flawless. CalcBot is a small calculator which gives you a lot of themes, history of your calculations, and also a unit converter which is very complete. The last application is Not Boring Weather by a team of two, which is called Super Boring. And this application is very pleasant to use. And for someone like me who lives in London and rides a motorbike, which is very dependent on weather condition, I always need to have forecast and weather information ready at my hand. Take a look for yourself and see how is the experience with this application. Thank you for watching. That was it. So these are the list of applications that I used most on my iPhone. I'll create another one about the applications on my iPad and then Mac applications. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Thanks for watching.